Great. So for me, when I'm meditating and to get started, you can either be in a seated position, whether you're on a bolster or a block, a firmer like meditative pillow works. If you don't want to sit, you don't have to. Everybody thinks that meditating is like you have to be in this perfect form. If you want to sit in a chair or if you want to lay down on the ground, you can do that as well. So just kind of settle into your space, get comfortable. If you're going to use oils, this is the time where you're going to just drop 1 to 2 drops in your hand. I'm using Balance because that's my go-to blend for meditating. And it does just that. It helps bring balance into your life. This Yin Yoga Class also helps bring balance into your life. And it's actually a new moon, so I figured we could all use a little bit more grounding right now. So just begin to settle into the space here. Inhaling deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. And with the oils, it only takes about 25 seconds for the aromas to start working their magic. And that is why I love meditating and using oils before yoga. And if you're in a seated position, just remember to kind of draw in your lower belly. You want to be sitting up straight. You don't want to be slouched over. Roll your shoulders back, create space in between your ears and your shoulders, and just release all of the tension out of your body. And when you're done kind of taking some deep breaths with your oils, you can place your hands on your knees or at your heart center in prayer. And just begin to focus on your breathing. Whether if they're faster paced or slow, the goal is to wind down and to relax your body. So let's take a couple deep breaths together. So when you're ready, take a deep inhale. Hold it at the very top and release, exhale. And you should feel yourself grounding into the earth beneath you with each exhale. Again, take a deep inhale. Hold at the top and release, exhale. And one more together. Deep inhale. And release, exhale. And here you can use any form of mudra with your hands if you'd like, or just lay your hands on your knees. And meditating for me was something that I've struggled with my whole life. And after my yoga training, one of the techniques I use to help get into my meditative space is actually visualizing myself in my room, in the environment that I'm in. It just helps you become more aware. So if you have troubles meditating and calming your mind, try focus on your breathing always, but then visualize yourself in your space right now. And the energy you feel, any sounds that you hear. Just take everything in and let it go. Visualizing each breath filling up your body, giving you life force. And each exhale, you're rooting into the earth and connecting even deeper. Notice if your inhales are longer than your exhales and try to match them. So if you're taking 5 deep, long breaths in, your exhale is the same. Focus on your breathing. We're only going to be here for a few more moments. And when you're ready, begin to bring awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes, and then gently begin to open up your eyes. Take in the energy around you and how you feel. And then if you are on a block or a pillow, go ahead and remove that. And we are going to start off Yin, this beautiful practice, with a butterfly pose. That's what we used to call it back in the day in elementary school. This pose is amazing to help open up your hip flexors, which for me are super tight sitting down and staying at home. So it's really important to, even when you're sitting on the floor, just sitting like this, you're doing something for your body. So you want some space in between your pelvis and your heels. Obviously your feet are touching together. And then what I love to do with this posture, if you want to use a blanket, you can roll it up and put it over your feet. And then you're going to thread it through kind of the backs of your knees. And if you don't want to use a blanket, you don't have to. But for me, I'm also freezing today, so it's nice to cover my feet up, and you kind of just tuck the excess blanket kind of in between your legs here. You can stay like this. If you do not want to fold over, which we are about to do, you can stay in this position if it's too much for you, but you want to make sure that you're on your sits bones. And so, especially for women, if you have a little bit of a booty back there, what I always do is literally like scoop up my little booty cheeks, and I can actually feel my sits bones grounding into the earth. So you definitely want to have a really good foundation. And if you want to stay here, just begin to set up right. You can drop kind of back down into a meditative state. You can also pulse your knees up and down. That's going to help just get rid of some energy, and it feels really, really good on your hips. So what we're also going to do right now is, if you have a pillow, blanket, whatever, take that, fold it over, and lay it in your chest. If you need more space, if you aren't as flexible, and honestly I'm not, I can't touch my head to my toes here, you can use 2 pillows. So what's gonna happen is you literally are just gonna shove your pillow in your chest, grab your feet, and begin to sit upright, and then lift your heart and kind of fold over and hug the pillow. And this is one of the most restorative, amazing poses. We are going to be here for 3 minutes or so, so definitely get comfortable. Again, listen to your body and do whatever feels right. This posture is great to stretch out your thighs and your outer hips, and it feels amazing. It should feel amazing on your lower back. Relax your shoulders, release any tension in your mouth. Again, Yin Yoga is also like a moving meditation, to where you can keep your eyes closed this whole practice if you'd like to. It's just about listening to your body, being fully aware, little conscious moments. always focus on your breathing. And normally, if I were in a studio, I would have some really amazing, relaxing music playing, because yin classes are pretty quiet, and I thought if I added music, you may not be able to hear me. So if you want to play music in your own room, feel free to. We're going to be here for one more minute. All right, and when you are ready, begin to wiggle your toes and slowly roll up to seated. Put your pillow and blanket to the side. You're more than welcome to put a pillow down at the end of your mat, because we are actually going to lay down on our backs next. For Supta Baddha Konasana, which means reclined butterfly pose, pretty much what we were just doing. I always love to take this pose next and just recline onto my back. You're going to get more of a relaxing 3 minutes. And so for me, I have to shift my body, but if you want to go ahead and just slowly recline, you can hold onto your knees if you'd like for some support. Don't just flop your body backwards, but just begin to lower your body back to the ground. Again, you can use your pillow to kind of prop your head and give you some support. I'm trying to see if you guys are, you do it so good. And again, this is the beauty of yin yoga. Like, I lay like this on my floor naturally, and it is so beneficial for your body. So when you are fully reclined, begin to focus on your breathing again, close down your eyes. You still want to be pressing against your feet, so you should feel a really good stretch in your groin, your inner thigh area. We're going to stay here for just another 3 minutes or so. If this is too much and you need some support for your knees, you are more than welcome to put either your bolster or pillow propped up under your knee. That's totally normal to do to create some support. You can also roll your blanket and put it down on your lower back if that feels good for you. Again, just listening to your body and whatever feels good. Try to take really slow, deep, long breaths. Let your body melt into the earth, release all of the tension in your body, and just surrender. one more minute. And when you're ready, begin to bring awareness to your body, open up your eyes, and begin to sit up. We are going to actually roll over onto our bellies for Sphinx pose. So remove your pillows and blankets and just roll over onto your belly. Sphinx pose is an underrated pose. Usually you flow right through it in a typical vinyasa class. But Sphinx pose, you're typically literally looking like a sphinx in Egypt. That's what I say. You want your elbows right under your shoulders, and you want your heels in line with your hips. And you are kind of rooting into the earth here, so you're not forcefully pressing in to the earth, but you feel secure. Like if someone was to come up and poke you, you're not going to fall over. So if you want just a mild compression in your lower back, you're going to stay here. If you want more and you're more flexible, you can begin to just press into the earth more and lift your shoulders back. It's going to create more of a stretch in your lower back. So again, whatever feels good for you, you can drop your chin to, you want to have some space in between your shoulders. You don't want to be all scrunched up and tight in your neck. So that's always the goal in yoga, is to create space and to loosen up a little bit. So this should feel really, really good on your lower back. If it doesn't, just begin to ease out of it, and you can even come into an alligator pose, which is literally just taking your elbows out and resting your forehead down. That's super restorative as well. But Sphinx is pretty mild, so it should feel good on your lower back. Again, you can close down your eyes, you can have your eyes open, whatever feels good for you. Try not to squeeze the glutes, so release if your legs and thighs and glutes are really tight. That's not the goal here. You just want to feel rooted into the earth. You can even roll out your neck here, move it from side to side. It feels really, really good to get some of that tension out of your neck. And hold here for another minute. Feeling connected to the earth, feeling relaxed. Go ahead and open up your eyes if you have them closed. And we are going to now push back into a child's pose. I'm pretty sure both of you guys know exactly how to get there from here, but if you're not, just kind of walk your hands back and send your booty back to your heels. You can go into a traditional child's pose, which means your knees are together, your feet are together, your arms are back, and your head is tucked in. Or you can take an extended child's pose, which is what I tend to do, and that just means you walk out your knees, your toes are together, you set back on your heels, and you reach forward. Creates a really nice stretch in your upper back. Either posture are super restorative and amazing, so do whatever feels good for you. You're getting a great stretch through your hips, your thighs. This pose is, again, one of the most restorative as it calms your brain down. It helps relieve stress. And it is just such a good pose. So I'll leave you here for 3 more minutes. Again, if your mind is wandering, focus on your breathing. Visualize yourself in the room. Just try to be aware this whole practice. You have all the time in the world to get everything else done. You're giving yourself and honoring your body with this hour. So just let it be and surrender. Ready, begin to just roll up to a kneeling position or Virasana. And we're just going to take a moment here to just kind of settle and from being back upright since we've been on the floor this whole time. So just kind of sit here and notice how you feel for a moment. Let the energy kind of move out of your body. Because we are getting into a deep hip opener next. So this posture, again, just be super, super careful if you have any knee problems, which I do. So if either of you have any issues with your knee, I can show you how to get into pigeon. That's what we're gonna do next. You can get into this posture 1,000 different ways. Usually you do it from a down dog, but since we're on our knees, you're just gonna come to a tabletop position. And I'm gonna start with my left knee because that's my good knee, and then I'll walk you through a modification on my right knee. But what you're gonna wanna do is just feel really strong in your arms. And when you're ready, begin to bring your left knee up to your left wrist and cross over your right foot to your right hand. And then, again, this is gonna look different for everybody depending on how flexible you are. It is totally okay if your toe is pointed further back. The more flexible you are, the straighter your shin's gonna be. So when you're ready, just begin to walk back your right foot. You wanna be on the tops of your feet, and you're gonna come into this as far as you can, okay? Again, if it doesn't feel good, you can take a figure 4 on your back, which, if you wanna do that instead, you just come onto your back, hold your left knee and cross it over your right leg, your left knee onto your right leg, and then you pull back. This is getting the same benefit of pigeon, but a lot of men especially cannot get into pigeon pose. So this is a really good modification. But for me, pigeon is one of my favorite poses. So if you are here, that is amazing. You do want to make sure that your hips are square, that your weight is evenly distributed through your hips. And if you need to take a pillow or a blanket and kind of push it underneath your left booty cheek, you can, because you want your left booty cheek to be either on the ground or on a pillow. And then from here, you can either just stay upright with your shoulders back and your head held high, or you can begin to walk forward and your forehead will meet the ground. And you're going to just melt into this pose. This is, again, one of my favorites. Such an amazing hip opener. It's stretching out your psoas, your lower back. It's also helping with flexibility, if that's a goal for you. This is a great place to practice and to sit for 3 to 5 minutes on each leg to help improve flexibility. Again, your right leg is straight behind you and your foot is flat on the ground. The top of your foot is flat on the ground. Super duper feel this posture. I'm hoping you guys are too. It feels so amazing on my outer hip area. Into the fascia, which is amazing, and that is why Yin is so restorative and healing for your body, because normally, again, in a typical yoga class, you're flowing so fast, you're not holding each posture long enough to really reap the benefits. That's why Yin is such a great, amazing practice. Even though it doesn't really feel like you're doing much, you're actually doing some really, really amazing things for your body, just laying here on the floor. One more minute here. Ready, begin to slowly walk your hands up, remove the pillow or blanket that you may have behind you, and we're just going to come back to a tabletop position. You can kind of shake it out, kick your feet on the ground, take some circles with your hips, kind of just move your body from that pose, because we are going to do it on the right side now, which for me, I have to get in this completely different because I have a horrible right knee. So I'm gonna face you guys to show you how I do this. Again, if you don't have an injury, you get into it the same way, just by taking your right knee to your right arm and crossing your shin over. But for me, I bring my knees together, I cross over my right knee, and I almost like I am crossing my legs when I'm sitting in a chair. My knees are pretty much even, and then I just start to slowly slide back with my left leg. Again, that's really only if you have an injury or if your knees are super sensitive. And I have to use a pillow or a blanket on this side to support and get some little lift under my hips here. Again, I always love to just stay upright for a second, pressing back and pushing my shoulders back and raising my crown. I get a really good stretch in my lower back. And then when you're ready, begin to fold and fall over, resting your forearms or your forehead on the ground. And we'll stay here for a few minutes on this side. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Feeling the earth support you. Beautiful. And when you're ready, begin to walk back up, removing any props you have. And coming to all fours or a tabletop, we're going to do thread the needle, which is a great stretch for your upper back, your lower back. You're gonna just wanna make sure your knees are under your hips, your wrists are under your elbows, you're feeling strong. And I always do the right side first, so begin to move all of the weight into your left hand. Reach up high to the sky, take your gaze up, and when you're ready, thread the needle, taking your right arm. I'm going to do it the opposite way so you can hear me and see me. And so you are kind of going back like you're going into a child's pose, and if you're familiar with puppy pose, it's pretty much the same thing. Your booty is high. Your right or your left arm is straight forward, and you have your left or your right hand underneath you, palm facing up, and you're resting your forehead. This is an amazing pose, again, for your lower back and your shoulders. And we won't stay here as long, but we'll be here for a moment or two. Beautiful, and when you're ready, begin to come upright. Bring your right hand back up to the sky and come back down to all fours. You can shake it out, move your body, and we're gonna do it again on the left side. So again, feel really strong and rooted down into your right arm. When you're ready, take your right hand to the sky and begin to thread the needle on the left side. I'm going to look at you guys through my arm. And all I see are some booties, which means you're doing it right. Awesome. And when you're ready, begin to walk back. Take a counter twist. Take your left hand up to the sky and back down to all fours. Shake it out. Take a couple cat-cows if you need to. Because now here we're either going to take legs up the wall or a supported bridge. So if you have a block, I suggest a supported bridge. If you don't and you have like a blank wall space, you can go up and do the same thing. So supported bridge, you're going to take your block and you are going to place it right on your lower back, kind of near your psoas, and you're just going to come back onto your shoulders. You can stay here. This should feel amazing on your lower back. And this is supported bridge. If you want to take a normal bridge too, which will create a little bit more energy, you can remove the block and come into a traditional bridge where you're pressing deeper into the earth with your feet. But the supported bridge makes it more of a yin posture where you can just kind of melt onto the block and let all your weight go. But make sure your feet are pointed forward, your knees are straight, and just be aware of the rest of your body. Even though this is Yin Yoga, you still have to be concerned about the anatomy and not hurt yourself. So just enjoy this pose here. This is very, very restorative on your nervous system. Feels great on your lower back. At any point of this practice, let out sighs, deep breaths, whatever you need to release. Be here for another moment. Amazing. We're going to come out of this pose. So when you're ready, remove your block, and you can stay on your back. We are going to do supine twist on both sides. So whatever side you want to do first, just come onto your back here. I always do my right side first. That's what I was taught in yoga training. You always start with your right side. So again, you kind of just pick up your knees like you're almost about to do like a crunch, and then you just turn over to the right, creating a nice twist in your lower back, and you're going to take your arms out to a T and take your gaze over to the left. And this feels so yummy and amazing. If you want a little bit more of a twist here, you take your right foot, which is underneath your left, and you kind of cross your knees. Again, only do this if you need more of a stretch in your lower back. Don't overdo it. I just started doing this in yoga training, and it feels amazing. Close down your eyes and enjoy this twist, twists are great for your digestive system and health. So we should all be doing some form of twists every day. Just a few more moments on this side. And when you're ready, come back to a neutral position. You can give yourself a little hug and squeeze. It feels really good on your back and spine. And then transition over to the other side. So take your knees over to the left, tee your arms out, and take your gaze to the right. Couple more moments here before we take a short and sweet Shavasana. When you are ready, begin to come back to a neutral spine. Give yourself another hug. And go ahead and lay down, completely surrender, and prepare yourself for Shavasana. Again, you can cover yourself with a blanket. Put a little pillow over your eyes. Shavasana is the corpse pose, which is prepared for final rest. This is a restorative pose you do every single day of your life, whether you know it or not. So begin to just surrender and release your whole body. I wish wish I was there in person to come around and give you adjustments and use some oils on you, but I'm sending you all my vibes. And so begin to do a body scan and release all of the energy, starting with the top of your head. So release the space in between your eyebrows, unclench your jaw, let your tongue lay, open up your mouth if you want. Relax your shoulders. Release all the energy and tension in your arms and your hands. Release your hips and your thighs. This pose can look different for everybody, so whatever feels best for you. And Shavasana. Slowly begin to start bringing awareness back to your body and your breath. You can wiggle out your toes and your hands, stretch your arms above your head, and roll over to the fetal position on either side, keeping your eyes closed and staying there for a moment. When you're ready, begin to come to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed. And just feeling the energy and taking in how you feel. Couple more deep breaths together before we end our practice. You should thank yourself for showing up, giving yourself an hour of relaxation and healing. Your mind and body will thank you later. Begin to open up your eyes, and namaste.